Generally,
Yeah.
laymen don't understand sodium as a metal, right? Do they? When you say the positive ion, does it mean
Yeah.
it needs electrons or it is ready to give electron? Generally, metals want electron or it want to give electron. It's not that it wants electron. It want to give up electron. And I always had a problem with the chemistry.
Okay.
The basic reason is I was never able to relate with the periodic table
Mm.
during my studies. But later, I studied myself little chemistry by drawing periodic table. A big picture is always essential. See, um, magnesium, the first thing, objective and scope. Why a student should learn this bonding, magnesium, oxygen? Why do we learn this? One objective and scope of every class, no? Why this? Where is it applied?
Yeah,
I,
that's true.
as a student of chemistry during my school days, I studied only up to plus one, plus two chemistry. After that, I was not with chemistry, but I came back to chemistry because I have to do PhD in fluid mechanics.
Yeah.
So my first paper was published in chemical engineering. So that time I re-looked at chemistry from a different perspective. I was thinking why teachers are not relating them to periodic table, understanding what is metal, understanding where magnesium is, where calcium is, where organic compounds are. It would have been so easy for uh, getting into the a picture, big picture, right? Why
Yeah.
there was a very specific reason for me to ask whether sulfur is a metal, because long time I never thought sulfur is a metal, and sulfur is not very strong metal. No, when we say metal, we have a group of class like copper,
Yeah.
all the magnesium is,
Iron.
yeah, magnesium is also close to. Why do we learn about magnesium as common person? Why do people learn about this? It's uh, too much of theoretical, like, instead of that, see, for example, if I would have been talking about sulfur, I will say that, where do you get sulfur? Where is that application of sulfur? How do people see sulfur in this world? Magnesium, how magnesium adds to your daily life? Where is it seen? It needs little more global look. Uh, Otherwise, yeah, atom is there everywhere. That's a chemistry. Every chemistry teacher can speak, right?
Yeah.
Everything in the world is cell. A biology teacher can speak.
Mm.
But I'm not looking for that. You give an example of, see, when you give an example of sulfur, magnesium, where where those two items are required, and where is that magnesium and oxygen, magnesium and calcium gets uh, deposited together, it makes a bond, so that bond creates problem. Sometimes bond is not very good, it creates a problem. It could be removed individually, but once it is bonded, it cannot be removed.
Yeah.
Understood? So
Yeah.
the sodium, yeah, we all remember the sodium put in water, it rolls around, searching for no, or leaving up. All that is understood, but I don't know how many students, common students, who are not really too good in chemistry. Our basic aim of teaching, I believe, especially tutoring, is to market your subject.
Yes.
I am a mathematician, I am marketing mathematics, so that if somebody says they don't want, I will force them to buy that. That's marketing, right?
Yeah.
So it should be more closer to their life, more closer to the heart. If that way, if it is done, it will become, that is how the teacher become distinctly different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I remember when I studied um, the medicine for acidity for human, magnesium is the medicine. Every acidic patient will have magnine content in acidity. If you take any acidity syrup also, you will see magnesium there.
Yeah.
Correct. So
Yeah.
it once it goes inside, immediately it absorbs all the acids because it's an alkali.
Yeah.
Sulfur is also an alkaline, right? Sulfur is called a white metal with alkaline property, right?
Yes.
So if you relate like this, sulfur is there everywhere. That is why when you in the every biological activity which is in the human being deposits sulfur. So when oil has to be ducted, one of the byproduct is sulfur. Travel from Kottayam to airport, you will see a large refinery in Ernakulam. The refinery has got a huge oil refining, and one of the byproduct is sulfur.
Yeah.
A heap of sulfur can be seen there. Chemistry can be seen there. I mean, my advantage is I have visited all these places,
Yeah.
so I have seen sulfur there. No, which sulfur is a byproduct.
Okay.
So you can see heap of sulfur there.
Okay.
What a beautiful scene is that. No, sulfur is so beautiful. Different colors it comes.
That's what
Sulfur also is high temperature only it melts. No, that is why refinery require large temperature to remove that sulfur out. The crude oil is a compound.
Yes. Yes.
It's the other way. You are talking about the forming bond, right? Now the other way, what happens is it's in the nature. It's a big compound. The job of refining means what? I have to remove each component which I don't require and get only what I want. That's what is refining.
Yes.
See, now I'll tell you, if you give small introduction like this and then students will find, yeah, I am able to see it. I am sure they will go and Google refinery. Size of an atom? No, very small is a local layman's language. As a scientist, as a teacher, we should not say very small. 10 power minus. See, when you learn biology, you see cell. You don't see cell actually. You have to zoom inside, take a leaf or take a palm and then put a microscope and see inside. You will see cell. At what level? Which 10 to the power of minus?
6.
Everybody knows this answer because cellular biology, molecular biology, and there is another term, next equivalent term is microbiology. Micro is 10 power minus 6. So it's all imprinted. 10 power minus 6 is micro. 10 power minus 9 is,
Nano.
there is no biology there. You cannot say nanobiology, nanotechnology only.
Yeah.
So 10 power minus 6 to 10 power minus 9, it becomes technology. That is physics. That is what Prakash is able to understand up to minus 9. But chemistry teacher is with a bigger microscope. Another minus 3. So 10 power minus 12. Biggest microscope of 10 power minus 12 minus 13. So you need a bigger microscope to look at it, right?
Yes.
Understood. So if you relate like this, oh, I'm seeing inside, because cell is always a bond. Energy comes with energy comes either when electrons are moved out and bond is formed, no energy. You are splitting it. So it releases energy, electrons, right? That's what is happening. High electricity inside that gas is filled, give electricity so that energy electron starts vibrating. Electrons vibrate in a frequency, it becomes light. And if it is bounded together, then no, it cannot be jumped. That is why radium light comes. I said no, sulfur looks so beautiful. In a bond it is not beautiful because it is with all the impurities. It is already in a bond. You release it, make it very clear. So when you talk about one example, I think give some taste of life, taste of relating to other subjects, because they are all studying different subjects, right? Look at the size of what you are talking about, where the bond is happening. And again, the beauty is you go inside the atom and then look, electrons are removed, protons are removed. That means you have got a bigger space for electrons to move. Nucleus is there, electrons are moving, so in between you have a lot of space.
Yeah.
So what is an atom? Atom is with large space and little matter. Little matter.
Little.
Very, very little. It's only electron. It moves very fast. Assume that you have to cut and then remove that electron, put it into some other atom. That is physically not possible. But there is a tendency inside which it has to grab an electron so that it becomes stable. No? So that is what is allowing to make compounds. And what is nuclear energy and all that, we are trying to put them separate so that it releases large energy at a stretch. So it's so powerful. You are not talking about a small thing, no? You are talking about a very big thing, which can create one electron removed, one electron added, but it can make bombardment. So how do we, which knife you use to remove electron and put electron, split neutron? Which instrument you will use? What is the size of that? It could be an electrons only.
Yeah.
Understood. If you want to remove a hair, you need a small pick, but you cannot use big ones, right?
Yeah.
So the pocket has to be very, very, very small. So you can imagine somebody. So make that student to imagine that you are not talking a small thing, it's a very big thing, but it's around you in this world. Relate to them to the, that is what is the imagination should come. I was never able to relate with the periodic table, group 1, group 2. How many times you tell, for you it's very simple because you know it already.
Yeah.
I don't think a student of 9th class or 10th class, if you take an average, 60% of them will not be able to understand group 1, group 2 unless it kept on repeating, putting in the periodic table. I don't know how many of you know that there is a nursery rhyme on periodic table. Beautiful. They can by heart all the elements in the same sequence. Beautiful nursery rhymes by many people, not one. So in whatever style you want, you can, with elements and explanations, with examples. It is in different names, it's available. One thing they can by heart it. By hearting will not help, because one of the assignments which as a chemistry teacher can be given is, because periodic table they cannot escape it as long as they wanted to learn. Give a periodic table, ask them to color different, and then put a color table and then show them. Metal separate color, non-metal separate color, group 1 different color, and keep them as reference. And whenever you speak, let them look at it physically. Maybe 1 or 2 examples can be shown. This is how it should be looked at. In the class itself, this is where we are discussing today. In the periodic table, this part is group 1, this part is group 2. In between, if you give as a reference, I think it will get imprinted. That will become much more a global view. Then, otherwise, the teacher is drawing a beautiful picture of a flower, but I don't know in a plant where the flower is. A knife is given and tomato is given to cut, but unless he used knife in his life, you don't know which is the sharp edge also. So you need to practice yourself. So the means of saying, you shade it, you put it, that means you are keep on using it many times. Small difference of opinion on this, because I think there has to be 2 questions to be asked. Are you preparing students for exams? That is one part. As a tutor, everyone has to do. Second part is to give them knowledge, give them interest. That's why I said marketing your subject. You don't know which student of yours is going to be a chemistry scientist tomorrow. So So when you speak in a class, when I am talking to my students, I believe, oh, they should remember Dr. TPS taught me this, even when they become the scientist in that subject, right? So not repeated that way. I think the easiest method is take a 10 years question paper. Every exam in this world people can pass, but that is not good enough.
Yeah.
So there are three different aspects probably in the tutoring. One is getting marks in exam. Second one is creating interest. Third one is getting general knowledge around this.
Yeah.
All the three together puts your class into a class.